Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us this Friday night. I'm Jay Kohn. Janelle is off tonight. When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, but what happens when it gives you lemon-sized hail? Well, that's the question facing Roundup residents this morning following Thursday night's storm that shattered windows, shredded siding, and smashed vehicles. Muscle County residents scrambling to help clean up that mess from last night's storm that featured hail the size of lemons. It's insult to injury for the Roundup community that's had more than its fair share of weather issues for the past few years. Q2's Zoe Zandora tonight takes us there.
Pretty much after talking to the insurance people, clean up. That's what I got to do today.
Cleaning up after a vigorous storm that hit Roundup around 5:30 Thursday evening.
Broke the window, it shredded the blinds, and then it forced the glass. We were holding the curtains down, which are insulated, heavy, and the glass was still coming through, and we were thinking, oh, we're going to get it.
With wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour and precipitation rates well above 2.5 inches per hour, and hail indicated being about 2.5 inches wide.
But these are, and they were lemon size.
Residents in Roundup busy picking up shards of glass, boarding up windows, and assessing the damage done from what some say is the biggest storm they've ever seen come through the city.
I've lived in Roundup my whole life, and I've never seen anything like that. We had baseball-sized hail, sustained hail for about 20-30 minutes. Took out most north-facing windows, west-facing windows, any vehicles that weren't undercover, severe damage.
Residents like Gail Armstrong, who were expecting just a thunderstorm, weren't prepared for hail at all, saying otherwise she would have boarded up the windows.
But we lost all the north and west-facing windows, all of them. And we lost the windshields, every mirror on every car.
Well, most of the damage is broken windows all around this building. There's one over here. I have some holes poked in my roof, so I have buckets in the house, and my vehicle got damaged real bad.
Not only was there damage done during the storm from hail, residents like Gail had to deal with drains around her house getting clogged from the sea of leaves, causing water to flood to as high as the top of her boots.
And it was just water from the road. It was coming all the way through here and bringing all the debris. You can kind of still see how it took it across the road and just ran down the road. We thought the wind was so bad, we thought it was going to be a tornado.
Yeah.
And we honestly thought it was just on our road. And then we found out later through other people that
It was all over.
It was all over.
In Roundup, Zoe Zandora, MTN News.
Thank you, Zoe. The city of Roundup has set up a call center and is asking for any volunteers to help residents clean up following that storm. Also, a bumpy night and a bumpy morning here in Billings as residents here first went to sleep to the sound of thunder and the flash of lightning, only to wake up this morning to yet another vigorous storm. Q2 meteorologist Connor Pregitzer shows us now how the torrential rain inundated the Magic City in just a matter of minutes.
Water backed up along Broadwater Avenue from 2nd all the way down to Division. There's also plenty of water on Montana Avenue at 31st Street, as well as the always flood-prone 6th Street underpass. Reports of over an inch of rain came in from across the downtown area as well as the Heights, with all of this rain falling in under an hour. This deluge coming just hours into the month of June seems a fitting way to say goodbye to a May that saw over 3 inches more rain fall here in Billings than the 30-year average. With more on the storm and where all this moisture came from, we send it back over to Jay and Bob.
All right, thank you, Connor. Bob, the look of those streets and the sidewalks with 2 feet of water in it. It was quite the storm. Bob's been looking at the impressive rainfall numbers. What did you find?
Well, it's quite a bit. Let me show you. We're going to start off around the state. Let me show you. Here in the Billings area, we had 1/2 inch of rainfall. Same thing in Miles City, about 1/2 inch. Glendive was one of the bigger places that had a lot of heavy rain. In eastern Montana, they had 1.42 inches. But now let's go into Yellowstone County. This is what we found. Quite a variance around the region. 2 miles southeast of Billings, 1.90 inches. 1 mile south southeast of Billings, 1.46. 135 by Lockwood, 10 miles northeast of Billings, just past the Heights, 126. And 20 miles northwest of Pompey's Pillar had 104. Let's go a little bit farther out. Show you other places like Roundup. Look at the rainfall amounts there. 7 miles west-southwest of Roundup, 338. You take that all the way down to about 1.40, about 4 miles south-southeast of Roundup. Just a lot of rain around the region, but it's almost done. We'll talk about the weekend in a few more minutes.
All right, thank you, Bob. Speaking of weather, today marks the start of the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season, but it turns out thousands of people are still recovering from last year's devastating storms. Parts of the country are bracing for what is predicted to be an above-average season. Courtney Zabowski has more for us tonight from Houston.
Lisa Strauss is moving back into her Houston home just in time for hurricane season.
It's very nerve-wracking, though. What's to say that it's not going to happen again? We don't know.
Last August, Hurricane Harvey pushed 3 feet of water inside her house. It's been 9 months of rebuilding. Other Houston residents are still lifting their homes, hoping to raise them higher than any future flooding. And this young girl spent Wednesday helping construction crews knock down her old bedroom.
I feel terrible for the families who are still in limbo.
Some images captured the scope of last year's devastation. Harvey in Texas, Irma in Florida, and Maria in Puerto Rico. 2017 was the most expensive and one of the deadliest seasons on record.
And I have to admit, I'm even a little stressed.
Bill Reed is the former director of the National Hurricane Center.
The thing I'd worry about the most as a forecaster was we're going to have a pattern set up to where they farm close to land so that it don't have enough time to get people the 5-day maximum forecast they'd like to have to prepare.
This season, the National Hurricane Center predicts 16 named storms. That includes up to 9 hurricanes. 4 of those are predicted to be major hurricanes, which means Category 3 status or higher. The city of Houston now has more high water rescue boats and more shelters, but multi-million-dollar flood control projects are still years away from completion. The mayor says recovery is a work in progress.
There are still some people that are in hotels, even now, 8 months after. There are still thousands of homes that need to be remediated, repaired, or rebuilt in some cases. There are still people outside of their homes.
And those just coming back home?
We're hoping and just keeping our fingers crossed that nothing's going to happen again.
We'll be keeping a very close eye on the forecast. Courtney Zabowski, CBS News, Houston.
Hurricane season runs through the end of November, the most active time from late August through early September. That's when Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria struck last year, causing billions of dollars in damage. In what could be an important lifeline for the community of Colstrip and its coal-fired power plants, today President Trump ordered Energy Secretary Rick Perry to take immediate steps to prevent the future closures of coal and nuclear power plants around the nation. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the president's action is due to a national security interest in securing the nation's power grid's resilience. Now, that was the very argument presented to Department of Energy officials on Wednesday of this week during a meeting in Colstrip. While specific details have yet to be released, Colstrip State Senator Dwayne Ankney told me he believes the president's order is part of an effort to protect federal government assets.
It's high time someone realized, the importance of the reliability of the grid. The federal government has a lot of assets in the Pacific Northwest. They feel that Colstrip is definitely an asset that needs to stay online in order to provide reliable electricity to their assets in the Northwest.
Bloomberg News did obtain a Department of Energy memo that orders the grid operators to buy electricity from coal and nuclear plants that are at risk of closure because of cheaper energy that's available from renewable sources and natural gas. Senator Ankney says it's still unclear how this order will affect the Colstrip plants, but said he plans to talk with DOE officials next week to learn more on the details. June 12th is back on as the date of an historic meeting between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. That announcement today comes just a week after the president called off the summit. CBS's Mola Lengi has the details tonight from the White House.
We'll be meeting on June 12th in Singapore.
President Trump told reporters the summit is back on after meeting with a senior envoy from North Korea. He presented Mr. Trump with a very large letter from his boss, Kim Jong-un.
That letter was a very nice letter. Oh, would you like to see what was in that letter? Would you like it? How much? How much?
All kidding aside, President Trump said he believes North Korea is committed to denuclearization, but he tamped down expectations for a major breakthrough in Singapore.
I never said it goes in one meeting. I think it's going to be a process. But the